You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The schedule, because it feels like it could be the non-con schedule of all non-con schedules. You saw the Duke news probably heading into the weekend. We're back to Madison Square Garden. They're begging us for another shot. Please, we think we can win this time. We at least can have a better showing. We're still bringing the mock turtlenecks. We're zipping up all the way to the Adam's apple. What's the coach trying to hide? A question for another show. But Chris, I believe, and you can correct me if I've got anything wrong here, some of these dynamics are kind of fluid because of multi-team events and things like that, like who you could get or maybe you miss. But we're talking about Duke at Madison Square Garden. We're talking about Illinois coming to Lubbock. We're talking about the Players Era, which features obviously some competition that could be top shelf. If you're talking about Tennessee, Maryland, San Diego State, you're talking about a St. John's, you're talking about a Louisville possibly being out there in some of these situations. So I got to tell you, we've had some very entertaining, hopefully very productive for team building purposes, non-conference schedules gone by over the last decade or so. This has got to be at the top of the list, doesn't it, as far as what this schedule could potentially bring to your table?
Yeah, and we'll see. It appears the Duke thing is a certainty. I don't think the USC game in Fort Worth is official yet, but that's been heavily rumored.
Yeah,
but
I didn't mention that one.
Yeah, you're, and then obviously Illinois in Lubbock, which would be one of the best non-conference home games you've had maybe certainly since you've been really good and competitive nationally. I mean, people forget this, but University of Washington, University of Arizona, they played some games here in the Pat Knight era and the Tubby Smith era in the non-conference, which was, it just kind of was under the radar just because you weren't really relevant, But this is going to be one of the, and I think a couple of years ago when the Wolfpack from Reno, the Nevada team that was coached by Eric Musselman, they were a top 10 team when Chris Beard was here. They played a non-conference game here, but yeah, those are few and far between. And the Players Era, you're going to get 4 games that are all legitimate, and we have no idea how it will go. We know you're going to start with Louisville, and then we know you're going to play. If you win, you're going to play the winner between Oregon and St. John's. If you lose that first game, you're going to play the loser of that other game. And then after that, we'll not. But I think that's Thanksgiving week. We're going to have a busy week that week, man. The football team's playing on Thanksgiving. I think the basketball team will be set to play on Thanksgiving as well. And I think the first that game against Louisville will be the day before Thanksgiving, I think, if memory serves. But I think you're going to play.
First, today's episode brought to you by Indeed. And hiring isn't just about finding somebody willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually make a hand in moving your business forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed-sponsored jobs is the only move to make. Instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post randomly, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, whether it's a skill set, specific certifications, location, or more. And that saves massive time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches and focusing only on those candidates who are actually a fit. Here's proof in the pudding that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies just like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed-sponsored jobs. And right now, Locked On Texas Tech listeners will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
Yeah, 3 or 4 games. I think you're guaranteed 3, potentially could play 4, but those will all be really, really solid matchups on paper with net possibilities and RPI and all the things that we talk about, all the metrics. The Duke and Illinois games, those are games that you can almost say right now, those are, preseason top 10 or 15 teams guaranteed.
We may be riding a wave like we did just last year, where you're taking some shots on the chin and, man, what are we? And then you deliver a shot to Duke.
Yep.
And then by the end of the year, when you were healthy, we're thinking national title contender. But that early season run, man, it was a little dicey, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that was frustrating because you took the loss against Illinois. You didn't have Luke Momboye. You didn't have it was just it felt like health was kind of a storyline all throughout.
Who did we play at the hotel too? I'm trying to remember in the conference room. Where were we? Sorry, I can't remember. That was one of them too. That was just like so frustrating.
Yeah,
I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, but you obviously had a loaded non-conference schedule last year, and you needed to win some of them. So the Duke win was actually very much needed at the time, and it kind of sent you into this Christmas break feeling good because you had lost the majority of them before that. You'd won the game in Fort Worth the day that the Orange Bowl was announced and all those things, but past that there wasn't a whole lot of meat on your schedule that you had been able to take advantage of.
How did I forget number 1 Purdue? That was the ballroom.
Yeah. Game. Oh yeah. And you got smoked. That you got embarrassed. Yeah. In that particular game, it's like, they were just pouring them in from everywhere. And it was a very pro Purdue crowd there in the Bahamas. But when I saw the Duke thing, the first thing I said to you was, it appears that Grant is that's why I say that I think there's some thought, and they could end up being wrong until we know what we know. But there's just some heavy thought that, we'll take this game because they're scheduling with the assumption that they're going to have some of these guys that they haven't been able to add yet. It seems intentional. Otherwise, you go, is that what's best for us? Is what we have right now, is that really going to hold up? And that's a game that's going to be on Amazon Prime. As far as the TV networks go, I think last year's was on ESPN, so that'll be an interesting kind of side story there with the game in the Garden. But you're that Illinois game. I hope people realize you better buckle up for that one. And I can't really envision a scenario where JT Toppin is playing in that game. But any of these new additions and everybody that you've already added, they better buckle up the old chin strap on tight for that game versus the Illini.
I know you may be looking ahead to the Duke game and you're looking at the roster right now and you're thinking, how, who, why, when, where, whatever. That's the questions that come when you don't have a Nolan Groves on the roster and you've got Duke up ahead of you. So it's natural, but there's still time to fill in some of these spots. And I don't know, Chris, I feel like as a Tech fan, maybe I'm just wanting to be here, but Tech basketball has got to be at a different level now when it comes to scheduling. Maybe you're on a short list of getting a phone call here or there that you wouldn't have been previously. Is that an exaggeration? I'm just like, how do we wind up back at Madison Square Garden with Duke all of a sudden? And I think it's because of the category you've been living in for about a decade or decade and a half, maybe.
There's some cachet that you previously did not have. I think I remember when Chris was the coach here, he was really asking to be in that game. Like, just felt like that market, that opponent at the time, it was Coach K. It was just like, it's kind of the rub we talked about, the other day, where the brush with greatness tour. Like, if you can just be in the same conversation, same category, you will inherently benefit from that, even if you don't win the game. And you didn't win the game, but I think as we saw that particular year, it paid massive dividends because Duke beat you. But that was the time when you made it to the Final Four and the championship game and all those things. But that you're right that they're not calling, not to take a shot at JaMichael Stillwell's previous school, but UCF is not playing in that game, even though their head coach was a great player at that university. But UCF is not moving the needle, whether it's ticket sales or TV viewers or doesn't have the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, appearances in the recent past, or a national championship game appearance. So
the ride goes on. What a wild offseason. What a wild roster building experience. And I don't really even feel like we're near the end. So who's to say what may be bubbling up this week or the next, but July 30th, one of those dates to circle on the calendar. Chris, appreciate an opportunity to catch up on this potentially just in case exciting news. If we don't get that in case situation coming to be, forget we ever said any of this. Chris, thank you so much for the time. And we'll see you for the next one.
I would appreciate it. Yeah, let's get that. It's sitting on the runway, man. Let's get that thing fueled up and rev that engine up, and let's take off because yeah, all of a sudden the face of your program will change, the outlook will change, and everybody can start to like calm down a bit about what are we gonna do. Well, you got some answers. They're just in the hangar right now. They're ready to board. So anyway, but yeah, appreciate it. Hopefully we get some more news this week about that. And you're right, football and camp is about to start, I guess, in about a week from now. And so yeah, we're off season about over with.
Red Raider basketball roster could be an absolute Lloyd Christmas, totally redeemed yourself type of situation after we've been scratching our heads mostly the entire offseason. Can't wait to find out. All right, Chris, appreciate your time. Appreciate everybody out there for joining us. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you never miss an episode, you're what the Everydayer Club is built for. Thank you to the Everydayers, the all-the-timers, and you can get your everyday Locked On Texas Tech fix ad-free, plus members-only network Discord access and more. It's linked in our show notes, and you can start a free trial today. Also linked there in the show notes, a free 14-day trial to try on the Matador Mob, your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text that's straight to your phone. For those of you watching via video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. If you're listening via podcast, make sure you make your second listen Locked On College Football. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.